Welcome to the Salty Platoon. How tough are you?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Salty Platoon podcast. I'm your host, SteelX Wolf. This is the first episode. Did I say welcome back? I don't fucking remember. Dude, it's 8 o'clock. I'm ready. Okay, so I have two of my great friends with me. We were supposed to have a third, but unfortunately, time zones blow. I have Arrowbane with me, and the Gobnik Tsar, which you will recognize them from quite a few videos, mainly the Russian Federation, is a game mode video where we all were being absolute assholes and destroying top tier, which we will get to in a little bit. But first thing I want to establish is obviously not many YouTube channels do podcasts, and in mind, Slickbee has a podcast, or did. I don't know if he still does it, and Bowtime had the Side Chat podcast, so if you've been keeping up with a lot of War Thunder content creators, you'll probably know that they had podcasts. Slickbee with the Angle Better podcast, you know. Bowtime did a lot of historical shit and all that stuff. Slickbee did kind of game, like War Thunder related stuff. It was just kind of casual, him and some of his friends talking. But the goal of this podcast is basically going to be to talk about a lot of stuff in War Thunder, because personally, I feel if I just make a video, me ranting alone, and it gets kind of boring. Literally every other War Thunder content creator does this. It gets kind of boring, and only hearing one opinion kind of just, I don't know. It gets stale after a while. You want to hear other people's opinions, you know, in the video, and I just figured it might be something cool to do, because not many other War Thunder YouTubers really do this. So, getting that out of the way, the biggest news is the Strategist event. They just released the, I guess it is the 4th reward today, which is the Merkava IIID. And before we get into the Merkava, I just want to go over all the others really quickly. Actually, wait, I just realized, no, there is one more that they haven't announced, which is a Navy vessel. Another naval vessel. Yeah. So the first one that they announced was the, I forget how to pronounce it. Isn't it like Sunderkraftzeug or something like that? It's a half track with, what, a 37 on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 37. So it's going to be another little semi-wheelie boy. It's going to be like the squeeze bore, whatever that thing was called. I forget the number, the nomenclature.
But it's just going to be brutalizing new players for a little bit.
With 50 cals, because just looking at it, I mean, in the video they show 2 of the crew members are way exposed. I think you can kind of hit the driver. I mean, no, that's the commander. His head is exposed. So even at like really low tier, 30 cals are going to crew kill this thing instantaneously. This is going to be another little meme reward. I like seeing half tracks in the game. I think it's kind of funny, versus like the flak buses and stuff, which is the same chassis, but obviously, you know, the construction being different. Then let's see. So what was the second one? It was the BI, the Gobnik, can you please pronounce it? I don't know. Is it it's just the BI, the Bereznyak-Isayev?
Close enough. Who's gonna care?
Okay, I don't know. I mean, you are my local Russian, so, you know, this is how it works. But, yeah, okay, so looking at it, since I haven't done any videos on these dev blogs, I figured this would be the best time to do it, too. But the BI has, from their cons, is low fuel and insufficient firepower. So it's a one-way trip. It might climb like crazy, like an ME-163, but you have, what is it, 90 rounds in the gun? 90?
Yeah, 90.
Yeah, only carrying 45 rounds of ammunition each, and they're Shevak cannons. They're 20 mils.
Oh God!
And you know what's funny? What?
Let's just say it's not gonna be great for anyone who wants to go for this thing.
That's a collector's item.
It's very much a collector's item for anyone who wants to get it, but don't expect it to do much. Oh, and it has rockets, airburst rockets. I'm not sure if that's going to be a thing in the game.
Did they state that in the dev blog?
I don't think they did. I didn't see it anywhere in the dev blog. But the actual one had 2 rocket mounts for RS-82 rockets, which are the tiny rockets that you get on the L2. I've been told those are airburst rockets, but again, I'm not sure.
You know what the funny thing is too? I played with this in IL-2 1946, and I can't remember if it was in a mod or if it was in the base. I think it was in the base game. But there's like the BI, and then there's the BI like 6 or something, which is what we have in the game, but with the exception, I believe they removed the rocket motor from the rear, and they just put 2 of them on the wing pylons, and that's where your boosters are. It's really dumb. But it's like way faster, way better climb rate, and I think they like stuck more ammunition in the airplane, but I'm not entirely sure because IL-2 doesn't show those stats. I actually thought we would probably get that version because it's a little memeier with 2 rocket engines, but I don't know. It's gonna be funny, but what is it gonna get? It's gonna get an air spawn, even though it has wheels. It has to get an air spawn. How much fuel are you gonna blow on takeoff?
Just take off and gotta start running her back to land again.
Oh my god! Because I think what is the ME-163's minimum? I think it is like 2 minutes, and it's nothing. Or no, it's a minute. It is a single minute. Oh my god, it's gonna be dumb, but I think it'll be cool. It'll be a cool Mimi Russian plane, but whatever. Then after
Just
that,
saying, anyone who wants to seriously play that aircraft, it's gonna be incredibly frustrating getting kills with the Shivax.
could you imagine someone takes it out in ground battles? they just go. There's some dude. Yeah, some dude's gonna take it out at top tier and start just whacking helicopters with the speed and the acceleration. Go back to base. That might actually be a valid tactic, by the way. I might try that. Because I think it's going to be the low tier reward, right? Because isn't there supposed to be 2 more? There's supposed to be another aircraft and another ship.
Well, there's the frigate, right?
Yeah, there's a frigate.
Tier or low tier?
It says rank 2. Rank 2 premium. I've heard that it's just a copy. I think it's the actual Cone in game. It's like a copy paste. Because there's 2
It's got
clones.
like more torpedoes, but there's lower caliber.
Let me look here. Yeah, Colin F220, 4.7 battle rating, and yeah, it's the same ship. It's literally the same ship. Maybe with better anti-aircraft armament. I have
no
idea.
ASMs, which is what everyone's pretty much waiting for on a new ship now.
Oh my god.
That's what you need to get hype in naval right now. Battle cruisers or anti-ship missiles.
Just jump right into it. No. We don't need nothing, any more cruisers. Let's just go to OHPs. We might as well. Like, fucking Automalaras. Even though, actually, in War Thunder, that would kind of suck, because that's a single Automalara. And when it comes to CWIS, how would they model CWIS? Like, you would think about it. You would have to manually try and use the Automalara yourself on an incoming anti-ship missile.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I don't even want to. You know what? I don't even want to think about it. But yeah, the Coln class, which is it's called the Lubeck, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say is pros decent firepower, good mobility, more torpedo launchers. So that's probably its really only big difference. Minimal protection. Oh, they're lower caliber torpedoes.
Yeah.
But it's 4.7. I mean, torpedoes already pretty much destroy things in game, anyways. Even then, if they're smaller, they're still going to cripple it. I don't know what the smallest torpedo is. I have no idea.
The British torpedoes on the U-fighter? I want to say it's those ones. Those ones are pretty small.
I don't think it says the caliber for the aerial torpedoes, though.
No, I don't think it does.
Let me check. Does it say? Mark. It says that it's a 1,548 pound torpedo, and its explosive mass is. Yeah, that's actually kind of shit. Whatever.
Someone can correct us, but I'm pretty sure it's the British viewfighter torpedoes.
There are naval advocates out there, after all. We'll take care of it. Tempest might actually know, but he's not here right now. Anyways, moving on. The big enchilada that we all know and love. The Merkava Mark IIID. Oh, Jesus Christ. So I was going to make a video on this, actually. I actually recorded it before, and then I realized that you both were on, and I was like, fuck it, we can do this podcast now, why not? I was actually going to make a video on it and say, wow, this thing should, like, be 9.7. I'm dumb. I'm a dumb.
My area 7.2 then?
So we found where is it? Someone posted in
Mine-
Discord earlier. Where is it?
There's a data mine already that of the
Oh, I found it. Yeah.
of
M322.
the Mark III, and it's got what's basically the equivalent of SIL 3143, the Italian round on the Ariete. And
This is I found the picture. So this is what it is. So it's rank 7, tier 7. It's battle rating 10.3. The repair costs I'm not going to go into because we all know from the last event with Summer, repair costs are fucked.
We know how this is going to go down.
The stock round is M325 Heat FS, which I assume is just the same Heat FS round that every other NATO 120 uses.
Yeah.
It has HEFS, which is M339. So maybe we can dunk on the Russians with high explosive.
We will have to see how much penetration it gets on the live server, or if someone has a penetration.
It's gonna probably be the same as the Swedish, honestly, because the Swedish have the high explosive round, and it does kill Soviet MBTs. It actually does. And it's a tier 3 round, which that's gonna have. There's no way that'll have to change. There's no. It's M322 APFSDS, which is the Israeli name for CL3143, which is the highest pending round in game at 625 millimeters of penetration base. So it's going to have the most powerful round in game. It is going to have Gen 1 gunner thermal, but I mean, okay, thermal's thermal. It has a laser warning system as well. The Merkava IIID in game has it now when they added the laser warning system last update. So that has one too. So obviously by standard this will have it. Highest pending round, laser warning system, add-on composite armor, and it's 10.3. I am actually going to go out and say that it is better than the M1A1. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it.
I agree. I'm guessing that the best American vehicle is not going to be a tech tree vehicle.
And what makes it worse, right, since we are talking about this strategist event, is that a vehicle like the 279, like I didn't really even play that. I think you guys did. I have no idea.
Yeah, I did.
I played it for like a day and I was like, I'm done. Like I'm not doing this.
I was just a scumbag, so like.
Yeah, okay. That event was pretty scummy. And was it the one before the 279 where or was it the 279 where we found out that they actually made the drop chances of something less after you built like your certain vehicle? I think it was the I-180S crafting event where after you built like the third one.
After you built like your third one, it would significantly reduce the chances to where it was essentially impossible to get all 3 vehicles.
The 279 one was where they hit us with once you complete one module, they just add another one behind it that was hidden before, 7 times or 5 times. That was the 279's gotcha moment. Dude,
that is so dumb. Like, if this vehicle is a reward vehicle for a build-a-thon, it's gonna be a pain in the ass. There's no way they're gonna let that many people run around with a vehicle of this caliber. Like, it's so dumb. I can't.
Like, if there are teams after the event where it's just 100% Merkava Mark IIIs, and it's behaving the way we expect it to, that's going to be brutal for like everyone but Russia.
And also, just to preface this, these two just played the Merkava. What was it? The first one or the second one?
I was in the first
one, and I played the second one.
Okay, the first one is 8.7. The second one is 9.0, right?
Yeah.
These two are going around clapping cheeks in Merkavas because of the volumetric change. Like, the volumetric change definitely helped with the protection of the Merkava, the weak points of the Merkava. Oh my god, dude, like...
You get shot at for 10 minutes, you don't lose any crew, you just keep getting, like, repairs.
And I don't even know, like, the armor value of the 3D, because if I'm thinking the composite armor is the way I'm thinking it is, I'm thinking it's going to be either like the Mexis, or it's going to be like the 2A5. Because I saw a picture, granted, I think this was a Merkava 4, of it getting blown open, and it's like the same composite. Like, it's the same style like you see on the 3, and it's like there's stuff inside the armor. It's not like the Mexis where it's kind of just or not the Maxus. I think the 2A5 actually just has empty space.
For the arrowheads, yes.
For the arrowhead, yeah, it's literally just empty space. I don't think it's empty space. I think it's like either the PSO blocks or the Maxus blocks, but like actual like NERA inserts. So almost probably going to be like extremely sloped Abrams levels. I have no idea.
And also with the Merkava, the thing is you don't have to stop it with your armor, because you can just take a hit and just return fire instantly, and then repair, because it does such a good job protecting the crew.
Dude,
it didn't used to be true, but now that is actually how it works.
I can't believe it's fucking 10-3. Like I was gonna say this in the video too, and I kind of want to talk about this real quick. Is like, and this we'll go into it later with a different topic, maybe a little bit more, but the fact that America's 9.7, like, for someone who's grinding, like, okay, me, Gopnik, I don't think Arrow has it, but me and Gopnik own rank 7 America. I own everything. Gopnik owns... Actually, no, you do own now. You own the M1A2. I forgot. You have it.
Yes, I have the M1A2 and the... I'm getting to the ADATs. But...
I only have the M60 AMBT because I thought I was going to get a coupon I could sell.
Yeah, that wasn't the case, was it?
I forgot about that. Yeah, they kind of goofed us on that one. But okay, so for me and Gopnik, this is like nothing. Like, it's like, okay, we still have Abrams, we can make it work. But like for someone who's grinding, for like someone who is in rank 6 and researching, let's say, I don't know, let me go to the tech tree here, and researching, I don't know, like say you've got your M60s, you know, like your A1, you've got your MBT 70, and maybe your Bradley, whatever, and you're researching your first Abrams, which should be 9.7 because it didn't get M833. it's still going with 774. The same round on the TTS at 9.0.
Yeah, I think I'd take a T72B 1989 over an M1.
Yeah, let's preface that. If you're getting a first Abrams, you're gonna get dicked over by a T72B3 or a T72B 1989, even if it was 9.7.
Yeah,
okay.
Like, this is the thing. You don't even have to get 10.7 in a 10.0 Abrams. You don't even have to. Even if you're top tier, but it's like there's a lot of 9.7s running around, and they're all T72s and T64Bs, they're gonna mop the floor with you.
Even a Ariete Priestry with DM33 is gonna laugh at you.
Yeah.
So like
your armor's that thin.
If you're someone who's grinding the M1A1, you're grinding, or the IP, even the IPM1. If you're grinding that, think about it this way. When you don't have a 9.7. The HSTVL is the only 9.7 that's in tree. Like, you don't even, there's no, like, the Russians, they have the T72B, the T72B 1989, the T64B. You can even use the T72A if you want, or the T64A. You've got a BMP3. You've got a T62M1 if you want as a backup. T55M. Chrysanthema, or Sturm, I don't think the Chrysanthema, but the Sturm. You have all this shit that you can use, and they're all not 10.0, and they're on par with the first 2 Abrams tanks, because even M833 still has trouble and is basically just you're firing at the weak points of the Soviet MBTs. It's not a lull pen round like it would have been previously. It would have been a semi decent round considering the ranges that we fight at in War of Thunder. But anyways, I digress. They've got so many options. You literally go from grinding an M60A3 at 9.0 and an MBT 70 at 9.0, and you're jumping a full a BR bracket to an M1 Abrams. Because the HSTVL is rank 7. It's not rank 6. So if you just unlocked rank 6 and you don't even have a Bradley, you're kind of fucked. So you're just jumping. If you get an Abrams, you're using a slow ass M60, which, by the way, should probably get a better round because you're gonna have to drag it up. I think the M60A3 TTS should be a 9.3. You're gonna hate me here, guys. 9.7 with M900. I know, I'm being an asshole.
All right, hold on.
But
hold on.
Or M833 at the very least. But it is an M60. It's not an Abrams, so that's the difference. There's a mobility difference.
That's like, yeah, it's just we've got this more and more top tier US stuff, and the problem is that there's this gap, and they just aren't fixing.
And the only thing that fills it, if you have the time and or the money, is the Merkavas, the events. So if you get fucked over from the event, if you lucked out, and you're trying to grind America, you're using an M1 Abrams, and then you're jumping in an M60 or an MBT-70.
Yeah.
Which are both... I mean, the MBT-70 is fast, but the accuracy of the 152 with the AP isn't the best, because it's not really meant to fire around like that. The M60A3 is just too slow and is a big target. It's a big target for its speed. You're not going to bounce anything. So, if you don't have the AMBT... the Merkava Mark II, like me and Gomnik can go play 9.0 America right now, or 9.7 America, sorry, and we can make the Merkava 2 and the M60A3 TTS work, and maybe the MBT-70 of the ladder, or the XM1. Obviously, that's always been there for purchase too, but you know, you get my point. So, if you don't have the event vehicles, even if you do have $50 and get the XM1, that's just one good tank. That's a backup for your first Abrams, which now starts off with heat against tanks with extreme heat protection, even at lower battle ratings. Like,
yeah, let me go on to the whole lineup, because not only are your first two Abrams like already getting, they're already being outcompeted by like Russian tanks that are down at 9.7. I should preface, they're down at 9.7. And so that's like half your lineup already just irrelevant, because the Russian tanks at 9.7 already have way too much protection for you to go through. The only way you can kill it is if you hit a weak spot. And even then, I've had experiences where I've hit the weak spot of a T-72 and it will only kill the driver and hit the back of the engine, and that's it. He can still shoot back.
And with volumetric shells, the heat round is fucking huge for a small spot to hit.
And with volumetric, yes, if you're starting out with a heat round, you're not going through a T-72, period. That's it. Your chances of it are very low. Extremely low.
And if you don't get his breach and you just get his driver, he's still going to fire at you. I mean, you can crew kill him by killing the driver twice, but if you shoot the driver and you don't break the breach, you're fucked. There's no...
Merkava is going to be the new king of that, I think.
I think so, too. Because when I know everybody spammed the AMBT, but the fact that you could pen a T80, like a T80U... albeit they have changed contact and they have done armor buffs, but the fact that you can still reliably, with the velocity and the penetration, kind of cheese through contact 5 is just ridiculous. Like, the M60 AMBT is a glass cannon. The 25mm instantaneously breaks barrel because they've buffed the fire rate twice since it came into the game. Fucking twice. It almost has the fire rate of the ADATs.
Also, you can clear ERA with the...
And it's high explosive only.
Yeah, and it's high explosive, and you can clear the ERA off of any tank that sees you.
It's literally the definition of a glass cannon. It is super offensive and not that much defensive in its capabilities. I have stopped not a Cornet missile. It was a normal. It wasn't a Cornet. I think in my AMBT experience video, it was a normal ATGM, but that still could have penned through the slat armor. And this is before volumetric. I'd actually like to test the cage armor again on it with ATGMs at some point. But
yeah,
I mean, volumetric shells is like such a great addition in my opinion. That for things like that. And ironically enough, I'm gonna segue into the next topic, which is volumetric shells. So, volumetric shells, whether you love it or hate it, was probably something that needed to be in the game.
Should probably explain what it is in case someone doesn't know.
Yeah, so if you don't know, because I kind of wanted to respond to Miles' video, but again, if you don't know what this is, basically, for the longest time in War Thunder and Ground Forces, shells were modeled with a singular point, like a pixel point. So when people say the word pixel shooting, if you're new to the game and you don't hear that word, or people say like weak point hunting, because we all know in World of Tanks that's all it is weak point hunting. Like everything is virtually impenetrable on a heavy tank except for a weak point, unless obviously there's a tier difference and blah blah blah. But still, so you could weak point hunt literally everything. The King Tiger would get weak point hunted. The IS-6, when it came out, would get weak point hunted. What else can I think of that has a small, squeezed-in spot? I don't even... I
mean, anything turret ring.
The IS-3 is a perfect example. The IS-3 has gone from one of the shittiest tier 5 heavy tanks to one of the best simply because the shot trapping doesn't really go through now. The breach kind of absorbs it, and you can't pixel shoot the turret ring and just tease through because the breach will also absorb it most of the time.
The IS-3, the KV-1.
Yeah, the KV-1.
The KV-1E.
Ironically released the KV-1E for sale again for a limited time.
And
Like,
the T-34s, you used to be able to shoot through that gunner's or the sight, I think.
On
Yeah,
the normal
the
ones or the
gunner's optic.
85s?
No,
The
the American T-34s.
Oh,
that was such an easy shot to hit.
yeah. I didn't even think about that. I'm so glad. Holy shit.
The gunner's optic can't be cheesed with an Ostwind anymore, really.
Wolfram's.
Or
Remember when I told you Wolfram got killed with 7.62 through the front of the Centurion turret because there was like an air gap that was a pixel wide? Like, people, when I'm saying pixel shoot, I literally mean a singular pixel got him crew killed by a machine gun from a King Tiger.
Oh, hold on. I remember. I got machine gunned in my area.
It happened to you. Yes, it happened to you. What was that? 2 months ago?
Yeah, there was a
changed
50
something.
cal that went through the side of my area and it killed my driver and killed me completely. I was like, what? Hold on.
So yeah, that's the basics of volumetric shells. Now they are the entire shell is fully modeled. So you no longer can squeeze.
I think it's basically 5 points now, like on the corners, kind of the shell. I don't.
Yeah,
think it's
I don't think. Yeah, they probably didn't go that in depth, but basically they take
be
into account the edges of the rounds. So obviously, dart rounds and small sable rounds are still gonna kind of squeeze through things because of their size. But you're not gonna have a 150 millimeter APHE round squeeze through the turret ring of a fucking IS-3 or something. I don't know, because it's just too big. So for heavy tanks, this has been a huge buff. For modern tanks, it's been a hit or miss. Dart rounds are still, again, they're still thin, but heat rounds, even if you just fire like a 105 heat round shell is smaller than a 120 round. 120 rounds for heat are kind of big, and you are not going to be able to penetrate the weak points of a Soviet MBT with a heat round at all. It's either going to clip, not reliably. It's either going to hit the barrel with the side of it and lose penetration and or just dissipate because the shell's like literally crumbling apart, or you're going to hit the driver's hatch and half the heat jet is going to go into the forehead of Ivan, fucking listening to hard bass and sipping on vodka, and the other half is going to go into the turret ring and not even jam it. It's not even going to destroy the turret ring most of the time in my experience. Even with dart rounds, sometimes it just goes in, hits the driver, knocks the bottle of vodka out of his mouth, he's dead, and then just hits the turret ring, and the turret ring is made of stellinium. It's ridiculous.
Or the round somehow goes all the way through and hits the engine.
Yeah, but doesn't damage the turret compartment, even though it went through the turret compartment.
Yeah.
Which is something I don't even understand. But anyway, so that's the basis of volumetric shells. Miles made a video on it the other day because he hasn't really made a serious video, and I kind of agreed with him on pretty much everything that he said in that video. That it has been a good change. It's more realistic because he does advocate for like a more realistic game, but at the same time, he understands that it doesn't seem like a good thing right now because you basically have to relearn the entire game. Especially if you're a new player and you don't know anything.
These things in context, like the fact that they just made everyone use stock heat.
That too.
In combination with this is quite a bit of a problem.
And it's not even new players too.
And that they did not preemptively predict what would happen and make balancing changes accordingly. So that's the problem for me. Is not. I think the change is good. It's better that things are more realistic, but the way that some vehicles are just way more powerful, and anything with a chemical round is way weaker now, and anything with good chemical protection is way stronger now, and they didn't do anything to balance that.
Yeah, and like it's not even for new players. Like people saying the B1 BIS is horribly overpowered now. Well, it may seem that way, but the B1 is a relatively easy vehicle to penetrate and destroy. Because the Germans have heat rounds on the stubby 75s, which will just cheese through a B1, even a B1 turret, because the front isn't really changed. The sides are for the turret, but still. Like, you can actually cheese through a B1 BIS pretty easily. You can take out the top turret fairly easily, even with non-heat. Destroy that top turret, and then someone else, or you, if they didn't shoot you already, can destroy the tracks, and you just don't go in front of the big gun in the hull, and you destroy it. It may seem overpowered, but it's only because it's a BR like 2.7, 2.3 vehicle. You're facing new players a lot of the time, and and the stats are going to go up because, you know, seal clubbing happens, and seal clubbing is a big disparity in statistic gathering and balancing, and it's statistics. And but at the end of the day, that vehicle is it's a seal clubbing vehicle against new players. But this also affects higher tiers, like a top tier, where people were used to starting off with a low tier dart round, and they kind of learn weak spots. And all of a sudden, their heat rounds are hitting things that they never used to hit, penetrating and not doing any damage, or half penetrating, or not even like people that are new to top tier and how the meta shifts are at a complete disadvantage because now they have to relearn top tier with a completely different round in a tank that is probably not a T-72 or T-64 or T-80, you know, and all of a sudden they're all things on whack. The only two nations that are the same are the Swedish with the for the later tanks for the 121 and the 122, because the Swedish don't use heat FS. It seems they use only HE, and not even HEFS, and the British, which don't use heat round at all. Also, be lucky, Britbongs, that guy didn't make you start out with Hesh, and I'm going to say that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Plays
your Challenger 2F experience with the best round, which, by the way, when I shot an M22, didn't kill the M22.
Oh my god.
Think about it. You could have started like that. You really could have.
Russian Badger. Bash. Fucking Bash. Bash is best round. But yeah, so they basically people have to relearn the entire game. Between volumetric shells for pretty much everything in the game in ground forces, and the heat FS change for people who are new to top tier, there's a lot of attitude shifting that needs to happen. The game is not going to be the same. I don't think they're going to revert volumetric shells. I think they said they might take it in and out, probably to fix it up, but I don't think they're going to fully revert it ever.
I don't think they should.
And I don't think they should either. I think volumetric shells, like German players constantly complaining that people cheese through the dumbest spots. It's like, okay, you took a 75 and cheesed through my T-29's optic. It's like, okay. It's like, people don't realize how much more this benefits, not even just heavy tanks. This benefits the Pershing from getting shot trapped and stuff like that. This benefits everything. You can't get some of those dumb shots anymore. Like someone semi-penetrated the shell on like the matching of two pieces of armor. That's not gonna happen anymore. I mean, as much. It might still happen because of how things are calculated, and we know the game isn't perfect. But it's not the meta. It's not the meta to hunt anymore. In arcade, you're not going to be hunting for a green spot anymore, and it's going to 9 times out of 10 work. It's not going to happen. You know,
autocannon spam's a lot less powerful now too.
Also, yeah, they kind of nerfed autocannons, which kind of sucks. But then again, they also should probably just give the penetration of the Bradley and the BMP back to what it was for gameplay sake, or just give them new belts, because the Bradley there should probably be a new Bradley with a dart belt. I don't know, but it's just getting ridiculous to this point.
Or Bradley with TOW2Bs. That would be nice.
TOW2Bs in the game for the Chinese, aka the Taiwanese Army's M113 copy. It's the CM25.
Hey, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Taiwanese, Chinese, whatever you want to call it.
The not real China. Sorry, sorry, Taiwan. The not real China gets an American thing before the Americans get it. So
epic.
That's ridiculous. Anyways, so that's pretty much what I wanted to say about volumetric shells. I think that it's a good change. I actually see where Miles is coming from, because he probably understands the same thing that I do, that people are going to have to relearn the game, and it's going to be hard, and people are going to be stubborn, and that's kind of like why he's kind of like, I think he said, is it a good change? I don't know, is what I think he said.
Yeah,
So he was kind of impartial. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
So
Is it a good change? Yeah, in a vacuum. In context, it's like, well, you're kind of screwing over a lot of players.
the HeatFS change and the timing, I think either whether Gaijin planned it or not, it's just fucking terrible. It is just terrible. I hate it. Every figment of my body that they did that, and the British and the Swedish get off scot-free. Like, what? It just makes the disparity the other way. It doesn't make any sense. But anyways, so I kind of wanted to make the next topic about like top tier balance, but since we kind of already touched on that a little bit, we're just gonna focus on Russia again. I see where Gaijin was going for with the T-72s. That, well, Russia didn't really have their own NATO in the same way that NATO has their own NATO, because Russia pretty much just gave their vehicles to everybody rather than those nations independently making their own thing. That's just how history went. I mean, there's nothing really much you can do. So they were probably like, well, we'll just give the Russians the most MBTs and we'll kind of keep it that way. And so they have the most opportunities to spawn, thus making it that we can make it NATO versus Russia a lot more. But, and that's a big but, that's like a Kim K but, is that they still have Russia and Germany and Sweden and Japan sometimes on the same team, or actually no, it's Italy most of the time, on the same team. So you've got the most MBTs, the best armor, volumetric shells were added, HeatFS is now stock. Okay, type nation. Then you've got Germany, which has a certain kind of cast I want to talk about later. But anyways, so they get a 2A5, they get a 2A4, which is meh, but you're kind of supporting. The Swedish, if they're in the match, basically double up on the 2A5. And then you've got the Italians, which have lull pen and no armor, but everybody basically can either shoot the turret ring of an Abrams or lull pen an Abrams, which is what the Italians do.
People, because Italy's repair costs are kind of fucked up, like they think Italy sucks, but they do have 3 tanks with more pen than just about any other nation's best tank. Like, they don't have much cast, they don't have other stuff, but in terms of spamming MBTs, Italy is near the top.
In terms of ammunition, the pre-series is on par with the 2A5, but with the armor effectiveness, well, lesser effectiveness of a 2A4. So you basically have a 2A4, almost 2A5 kind of hybrid in terms of firepower. And then you've got 2 lull pen Ariettes. The PSO gets kind of weighed down by the blocks, but it's still fairly mobile. So Italy, and they also have some of the best thermal in the game. They also have laser warning. I don't know. I don't think the pre-series does because it was technically a prototype.
No.
But the other 2 productions do. They also have, or used to have, one of the best AAs in game, which was the side of Mistral. But they've kind of been messing with Mistral missiles. So it is still kind of good.
Now it's one of the worst.
It can missile. If helicopters come into range, they gave it its electronic countermeasure back, so it will actually defeat flares. But helicopters are just too tanky, so it doesn't really work. You have to kind of pilot snipe. The automatic is always hit or miss because they constantly keep changing the explosion radius, the mass, the amount of shrapnel, and all this stuff in the HEVT shell. So Italy has a pretty powerful lineup at top tier. I'd argue they have the best top tier lineup of any nation, excluding Russia. But I'm talking basically NATO here. So I'd say that the Italians, technology-wise, with the thermal, the laser warning, and the round, have some of the best tanks in game. They take a lot of patience. I actually, in my opinion, I got better at War Thunder grinding the Italian tech tree. Like, I actually do genuinely believe I sucked at the game until I played Italy. Because playing with the Centauro and all that stuff with the hull break, I learned how to be a little bit more patient, a little bit more observant, and a little bit more pick and choose battles. When it comes to bigger maps, obviously we're all in fucking European, Eastern Europe, or fucking, I don't know, Rhine. It's not going to happen.
You got the thermals to pick people out and the lull pen to snipe them.
So yeah, like I think Italy had probably the best learning curve, the hardest but the most rewarding learning curve. Sweden is just too expensive. France doesn't have a Leclerc worth grind. I mean, the Leclerc is good, but the fact that that's like your only good main battle tank, and I'm not even spaded, and it's almost 20,000 SL, because give or take, the Leclerc did have a 5-second reload for the longest time. It is a pretty good vehicle, but you only have one. You have one slightly heavier armored Ariete, and they have two, kind of three. The AMX-40 round, the OFL G1, not the best. You know, the AMX-32 is a smushed AMX-40, so you lose some of the space. The Leclerc is good, but it's only one Leclerc, and Russia has a T80U, T72B3, and a T80B, which is slightly less discount. And they're all on par. So
I think the problem isn't necessarily that Russia is light years ahead of the next best nation. I think the problem is that there are nations that are just so left behind, and it becomes this thing where, well, who's going to get shafted with, you know, Sweden and France and all these other nations, and who's going to have Russia and Italy and Germany to just raffle stuff.
Like when everybody was grinding the T72B3, albeit most of the good players were on Russia, so that's kind of why NATO was getting stomped on the ground. I want to say maybe a week after the patch came out, when it was still NATO versus Russia, because there were still a lot of people playing Russia, it was a pretty fair fight. Like, it can go either way because of the numbers, because they knew that the numbers for the Russians would make up for the fact that they're alone. And it's true, and it works. But they keeping the USSR, Germany, and sometimes Italy or Sweden or both with those two set up is ridiculous. America and Britain and the one Japanese Type 90 does not make up for that kind of powerhouse, because of the cast of Germany, the bombs and the helicopters of Russia, and the armor and the firepower of the Swedish. All are a perfect combination to deal with the Americans and the British. Oh, you see a Challenger 2? Just Vicker it with a K50 or K52 after you threw away your T80U in a lull rush. Oh, you see that Abrams over there? Just pop dart rounds from the CV90 into his turret ring. Even with volumetric shells, it will still go through half and half, but you have the fire rate to do it, especially if you catch them in a reload or you break their barrel. They have the best anti pretty much everything combination, and even only like 2 or 3 Swedish players, if all 3 of them have a 122, that's an extra 2A5 that's even harder to deal with, because sometimes at distance you might not know, depending on the time of day or the climate, you just might not know what they are. So it's just ridiculous. But NATO versus Russia, I'd say, should probably be the permanent matchmaking from now on, because of the numbers. They didn't add just the B3. They gave Russia a 9.7. You can grind your B3 and T80B and T80U with a fucking breeze lineup. On top of the BMP-2M, which is Cornet missiles that can pen an M1A1 at 10.3, and it's a 9.0 vehicle simply because its autocannon lacks, but it has 4 Cornets. I have that thing in my lineup. My lineup is a K50, a BMP-2M, a T72B3, a T64B, which will soon be a 1989, a T80B, a T80U, and an SU7B. That's a fucking powerhouse lineup. That BMP-2M, I can kill anything I want with those missiles. It's literally the culmination of the "oh no anyway" meme with the Top Gear guys.
Yeah, big facts.
No other nation in the game, not even the Americans, can do that, because the M1A2, Gen 1 thermal, because it got its thermal nerfed. The M1A1 only has gunner thermal. The M1IP has a little bit better round. You only have a good Abrams, 2 good Abrams tanks, and then you got to rely on the M60, which again, going back to earlier, event vehicles should not be taken into account when balancing lineups and tiers. They just shouldn't. Until after the main tree is solved. But
I kind of want to talk about that. The fact that America has to rely on 2 other 120 mil equipped tanks that are event vehicles is kind of stupid. Okay.
Well, the fact that the 2 most powerful rounds in the U.S. tree are not in the U.S. tree.
Yeah, they're event vehicles.
they're Israeli and Turkish vehicles that are just kind of American influenced. Like, it is so dumb. Oh fuck! I knocked my microphone a little over. Okay, that's okay. There we go. Fix it. I bumped it earlier when I was readjusting my seat. Anyways, next topic is, well, we already kind of touched on it again. Minor nation disparities. We're just gonna gloss through this real quick since we already kind of talked about it. Italy, and this will actually no. We'll do this kind of combined. Italy having the G91YS being put to 10-0 and the J32B being put to 10-0 is kind of ridiculous because
so stupid.
The Italians have a lot of, they don't have a lot of stuff, okay? They just didn't. World War II, they didn't. Anything that they could potentially add that would be German, even if Gaijin says, well, there's not hard evidence, okay. There's photos and stuff. There's theoreticals of a German stug painted with like an Italian marking and stuff. Like, they can add it. Italy cannot have, and we were talking about this earlier in the general Discord, that you can't add something like an Italian stug or Panther and make it an event vehicle.
Or like a Dardo.
Or a Dardo. Yeah, the Dardo IFV would be nice. But like Arrow, you said that earlier. You go into that about the whole like disparities thing. You take that.
Because I know a lot of people don't like that Italy and minor nations don't get a lot of event vehicles. I mean, I guess we just got a boat. But the thing you got to remember is that, like, the United States has not even begun to exhaust the amount of vehicles it can have. And they're adding tons of event vehicles. Whereas a nation like Italy, they only have a couple vehicles that they can add. Like, yeah, there's quite a few, but in terms of iconic competitive vehicles that people will actually want, you could add just about every single one of them, and you would still not have a full tech tree. Like, you wouldn't be crowded. And so with those, it's like, well, if you add them as event vehicles, that'll be cool at the moment for all of us playing right now. But then someone comes along in the future, and if they want to get, so let's say you do a Dardo. Well, now if they want to get a Dardo, they need to pay $60, $70, $80, $100, $150 on the marketplace, which is just dumb. Like, it's much better to have these vehicles accessible to everyone in the tech tree, and then take vehicles that don't really matter, that nations don't really need, that it doesn't matter if not everyone can have them, and make those event vehicles.
Like this is another thing too. Like, I saw one of the comments on the Merkava dev blog with someone saying like, oh, nothing. It's always America, Germany, and Russia, the big three, not getting enough, you know, other nations still getting enough. Well, you can't give a nation like Italy event vehicles that are good.
Certainly not every second event.
Yeah, because if you make some of their most vital vehicles event vehicles simply because they were even given to them by the Germans or, you know, whatever, then they don't have their tech tree is still shit. Because not everybody is going to be able to play the event, get the event vehicle, or buy it. And also, again, depending on the difficulty, whether it's a build-a-thon or it's an event with the tasks, but the tasks are fucking impossible, which summer event felt nearly impossible because the kill requirements were just insane. It was just ridiculous. But like, if you put an Italian Panther, like the French got a Panther. Okay, the French, great. They have a Panther that's, what, 5.7? That's optional. You have a Jumbo Sherman, an SA-50 Sherman, which is 4.7, but still, the gun is still very good. You can get the FL-10 Sherman, which is still a sellable pack. Maybe in the future they remove that, I don't know. But you've got the Arrow 44, which went down to 5.3. So you don't even need, if you get that Panther, you're going to up-tier yourself to 6.7. Now that they put the Arrow 44 down to 5.3, and you have the Jumbo Sherman at 5.3, you can get up to 6.3. So it's a much better grind. The French are not really meant to be a main. You go for them, you download Warzone, and you go for them first tech tree. The same with the Italians. I'd argue that the French, the Italians, and the Swedish are, in Gaijin's mind, end game countries. Like, you've played the game, you've played America, you've gotten the famous vehicles in America or Germany or Russia or Britain. You get your top tier vehicles, whatever. And then you're bored. Maybe you want to go for the Japanese because they're a little bit different and nobody really touches them. Or you want to go for the Chinese because they kind of combine both. And then Gaijin's like, well, the Italians are very expensive. The same with the French and the Swedish. They've got these very unique, very powerful combat vehicles of all these different tiers and all these different unique kind of play styles. Because also of their statistic system, which does influence the repair costs.
Don't get me started
But
on that.
yeah, but I digress. That has something to do with it, but at the same time, they're not easy tech trees to grind. Even for me, in Gobnik too, grinding the French tech tree is a pain in the ass.
Well, until you get to like 6, 7.
Until you it's a little bit easier. But like the Lorraine used to have an extremely high repair cost when I ground out the French tech tree. I ground it out with the AMX-30. It's still one of my best vehicles in my stats. I played it a shit ton because it was fun. I did play it at 7.3 when it was kind of seal clubbing, but even at 7.7, it's just a Leopard 1 that's better in my opinion, with better suspension. It was a breeze. But the Lorraine was way expensive. The AMX-50 was a little less expensive. But like the French tech tree is hard to get through rank 2 and 3. The Swedish are a pain in the fucking ass because their rounds aren't really the best at penetrating. And the 5.0 TD and the STRV 74, the PVKV M43 and the STRV 74, their tier 4 modification round is the Sabre round, but it's tier 4. And their guns, their APHE rounds are alright, but the STRV 74 is 5.7 and the PVKV is 5.0. Because they have slightly different guns, and the penetration on the STRV 74 is slightly better. But like grinding to that round with a tank that's this thin, little, slow, kind of monotonous, weak armored chassis is not fun. The Swedish have a terrible grind.
On top of it being tall as fuck.
Yeah, and well, they get some British stuff like the Centurion, or the SRV 81 with a 84 mil and a 101. With 105, and then you get the 103s, but then you get the 104 because it's higher battle rating. Like it's just not fun. It's not a tech tree that is for new players. If you download the game and you're playing Sweden as your first nation, and then all of a sudden you say this game kind of sucks, that's on you. But
well, that's on Gaijin for not making that clear.
And Gaijin on making that clear too. It's on you for choosing Sweden, and. But it's not 90% your fault. It's mostly Gaijin's fault for not kind of clarifying.
New players supposed to know that.
People that don't know World War II vehicles, they're definitely not gonna know. Like, there's no way that they're gonna know what nation to go for first. Which is why when people usually ask what nation to go for first, you tell them Russia, Germany, and America because they have a lot of stuff. They're the most flushed out. Yeah. You'll get the best lineups easier. They don't have play styles that are extremely based off of, like the Italians are based off of using your ears, for when it comes to not getting hull broken when you get to the wheeled vehicles, you really got to learn how to sound whore, corner peak, just dumb little tips and tricks that it's just hard for me to explain in words that I have to show. But that's just, I don't know, that's just how it is. It really is a shame that Gaijin doesn't do that, but then again, it's on us content creators to make that too. But if people don't seek us out and don't seek out the help, and they're playing Italy, France, or Sweden, and they're wondering why they think the game sucks, because they just don't understand that they're not playing a nation that they should start out with. That's kind of it's kind of on everybody.
Yeah. Also, you need to play these nations effectively. You need to understand lineups, and you need to have your whole grind planned out so that you don't strand yourself with like 1.80 and a bunch of 7.0s or something like that, you know?
Yeah, and that's some of the things. Some of the tech trees don't make it hard. Like again with the what was it with the not the Italians? I know this isn't a main tree, but like with the Americans with that 9.0 to 10.0 jump, or like the Swedish, you've got the 7.7 lineups with the 103s, and the S-Tank control system is still shot. By the way, it's better than what it was, but it's still finicky, and you're not going to be super precise. It's not at all what it is in real life. But you get the STRV 103C and the 104 at 8.3. Your premium CV90 is at 9.0, so that's suicide to take that with you. You've got the, like the missile destroyer and stuff like that. You're literally going to jump from an 8.3 tank to a 9.7 or 10.0 vehicle, which is even worse than jumping from 9.0 to 10.0 or 10.3. That's more than 1.3 BR. Jumping from 8.3 to 10.0. That's ridiculous.
And this sort of issue ties in with premium vehicles and lineups like that. If you're one of those new players who went and By the time you went and installed Warthunder, and you were like, "Well, I want to make my grind faster," which is, that's fair.
No.
Then and you go out and buy like an AMX-30 Super. You're basically handicapping yourself because that's the only tank you can take out. Okay?
Yeah.
You went and bought a AMX-30 Super, and now there's nothing to back it up.
I hear a faint regret in your tone.
Yeah, just a little bit, because I bought an AMX-30 Super and then got to... I realized at that moment, the minute I hit purchase, that I had nothing in France. What the hell was I going to back it up with? Absolutely nothing. So I had to spend some war bonds getting backups for that thing.
He slapped...
I had to keep spawning in it.
He slapped the Israeli Air Force roundel on his tank and called it a day and said, "I'm just going to roleplay as... discount Israel. Use my Valtor, my Jutor as air support."
Israel is killing it in War Thunder right now.
And packs like that. Packs that have both an aircraft and a tank that are both really high-end. High-end, like, premiums. And then you have nothing else to back it up with.
Some of the packs are shit. Like, I bought all the British premiums during, like, that big sale just so I had them in case I wanted to grind Britain, which I gave up on because Britain is boring, but I'll try it someday. They give you I think the shot call or the Roycat, one of the two.
The shot call
and the Hunter. And the Hunter is 9.7 and the Roycat is 8.7 or 8.3 with the shot call, whichever one it is. And all of a sudden you're like, I want to play this combo because they were sold in a pack. They must be in the same like scope, right? Wrong. You're gonna go to a fucking 10-0 game with a little wheeled vehicle and you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, what the fuck? And I did it too. I did it on purpose, and I was like, I'm not gonna throw my team like that. That's just fucked up. Because I hate it when people do it. I'm not gonna do it myself.
When they add a high tier premium, everyone's gonna go buy it, right? It's like when people bought the K50 and a T55 AM1. They were taking a T55 and a 10-0 with a K50.
If they just didn't understand.
Yeah, because they didn't understand lineups.
If they want to sell high tier premiums, they need to plan them more carefully so that you buy a lineup. And you can actually play it all.
If you're gonna buy a premium, don't just like give and you know that they're gonna lose money because of it. But don't just offer the premium and that's it.
If you have to buy
There's
a
gotta
lineup,
be some barrier in between, like, oh, you can't buy this premium because you don't have X, X, and X.
If you buy a premium though in a lineup, you just know they're not gonna remove shit. They're just gonna add more, so it would make them more money because they'd have more shit to buy. Like, I don't know, it's fucked up. But anyway, so I did want to get into the J32B, the G91YS, but I figure next time we do a podcast, we'll talk about air instead rather than tanks because it's been almost an hour and I want to get to some questions. So we're gonna start off with some questions. This is gonna be question and answer. I'm gonna do this at the towards the end of every podcast, and then for the next podcast, leave your questions in the comments, and or if I make a community post, or if you're on the Discord, I have a Discord channel called Salty Platoon Questions. That's where you'll have to go to post your question, whatever you want us to answer. Obviously, I'll have the link to the Discord in the description for those that want to join and get involved. All are welcome. I have a War Thunder squadron as well, so if you join the Discord, I'll most likely just direct you to the squadron. It'll be much easier that way. So, we're going to get into some questions. First question, let's see. We're going to do... I know we've already kind of talked about the Merkava, but obviously I wanted some questions centered around the event, but it's from a Discord user that I have on the Discord, Soviet Megaman, and... they say, what are your opinions about the fact that the Merkava Mark III will have the best shell actually in the game? And I'm going to give my opinion first, and you guys can go. As we've already kind of discussed it, though, so we're going to go real quick. The fact that the Americans have to rely on non-American event vehicles, or not American-made, but they're in the American Tech Tree event vehicles, to have a competent top tier is just ridiculous. I mean, it's going to be an amazing vehicle, but the fact that it's hiding behind a build-a-thon rather than an event means that there's going to be less of them. It's going to be super expensive on the marketplace, and if you see one, you better hope that they're a good player and that they didn't just fail their way through it.
Yeah, you better hope that they have a lineup.
Yeah,
oh my God.
like with the M60 AMBT, no one had a lineup, so the minute people died, they just left.
I remember that.
That's
I still don't even have the dart on that thing because I just wasn't gonna play it.
Oh man, that's gonna be
It's
insane.
it's nice that it's getting the best round. They're making it enticing to get, but at the same time, they need to add something else to America that is in a tech tree, that is
Also-
in the physical tech tree, not just an event vehicle. It's stupid that you have to rely on 2 other tanks that weren't even used in American service to complete your 120 mil lineup to
Also-
fight against the Russians.
I don't want to go on like a tangent, but it makes me sad that we've now pretty much destroyed any chance of an Israeli tree, even like a sub
Yeah.
tree in the U.S.
Yeah.
Tree, like that's not happening.
Gaijin, I don't think
Ever.
Gaijin is ever gonna make sub trees now. I mean,
So-
did anyone even make a suggestion about it? Like, has it
I
ever
don't-
been a thing on the forums? Because I kind of regret that we should have done one.
Well, I think they were very dismissive of people talking about it. So I think people are made suggestions for full trees. Like I know there's been suggestions for a full SADF tree.
Yeah,
But
people
I don't
can't
know
do
about
that.
that.
You get like I
Anyway.
said with the Israeli, like I don't know if I said this earlier. I actually didn't. I want to go into this now. So, my idea for the Merkavas originally was, say during the events of like the anniversary of like Israel wars, like the Yom Kippur War, the 6-Day War. During the time period that the battles took place, they hold an event where you have to play either American or British vehicles for ground, and there's a hidden tech tree, an alternate tab in the American tree that opens up where you can grind all the different Magaks, all the different Merkavas, because we still don't. There's a lot of Magak variants that are in the game. You can grind all the Magaks, all the Merkavas, or like the Super Sherman, or the Hafiz, ATGM, Perez, stuff like that, where you can grind them during that week. And then after the week's over, whatever they literally just hide the tab. Like you can't research it. Like it's gone. You can't look at it. Your vehicles, the vehicles that you did research, you can still see. Or sorry, let me rephrase that. You can still see the tab, but you can't see the researchable vehicles. Like you can't research them anymore. The next year comes around. I know again this is a year people would be impatient. Yada yada yada. But when the event comes around again, your RP that you had put into something is the same where you left off, then you continue researching. I just think it would have been a good event. It's a more unique event that comes around once a year that allows you to do that. Say there's an anniversary, I don't know, for like a Hungarian thing, you research Hungarian thing. A different kind of event that's a little bit more unique where it's just grinding. No bullshit tasks, no build-a-thon marketplace bullshit, just grinding RP like you normally would. That's meant a little bit more for veteran players. It's a little bit more alternate. Or, if people do want to research it, I mean, the tier would probably start off at rank 5 anyways. I just think it would have been a much, much better option than having 3 Merkavas be event vehicles. Who knows, in the future, there are more than just these Merkava variants. They could add an alternate tech tree in the future and just add different variants in the tech tree. Whether they're better or not doesn't matter. As long as they're in the game, I'm happy. I don't give a shit.
Of course, a RP booster, because no one wants to grind, a Merkava that's 300.
And all of the Merkavas not being premiums just makes it even more of a dick move that you gotta buy a talisman. Anyways,
not grind a Merkava.
Anyway, I didn't want to get hung up on that, but it was just
that's the
annoying.
one thing I forgot to mention earlier. That was my idea for like the Merkavas and events in general. Let's see. So another user, Hatter, said, "What's your opinion on the crafting event?" I would say overall, I don't like crafting events, and I'm leaving it at that. The period. Done.
Yeah.
I hate crafting events. They're fucking
Not a
gay. They're predatory. And with Gaijin, with manipulating RNG, they're harder simply because it's down to RNG rather than you doing a task.
And
I don't like it.
What I don't like is that every single time it is deceptively difficult. And because if they want to make an event that's really hard and it's only for the most dedicated players to get these unique vehicles, I'm fine with that. I mean, I don't like it actually, but I'm fine with that. But the fact that they market it as this, do you want a new
Accessible.
cool vehicle? Go for it.
Yeah.
Get some vehicles. And then it starts out and it seems like that. And it looks like you're fine and you're getting the stuff and you calculate, okay, I need to play this much every day. I can do this. And then somewhere, either the drop rate slows like the first time or the
Just hit a
I-180 thing,
fucking wall.
Or they just start adding more and more hidden requirements to get the thing. Like, for example, the more and more boxes showing up in the 279 Moonrace event. And then it's just like, you're stuck because you've already invested time. You might have already invested money. And now it's like, well, if you don't complete the event in time, all of your progress is gone. Boom. Nothing. You just completely wasted that money. So it's a sunken cost fallacy, and it's a predatory way that they get people to spend more money on this event than they would be willing to. And I
Well, we know they got to make money, and we know they're going to be a little predatory. But when they got caught red-handed during the 279 event, that was like disgusting to me. That they like actually did that. It was like, it's already mundane enough to rebuild the same plane like 6 times.
Or the same ship.
Or the same ship with the same tank.
Stupid bloody asbestos fiber to drop.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. God, that was awful.
Oh man. Yeah, that's our opinions on events in general. Monte Carlos, another Discord user, asks, what vehicles are you going to grind in this upcoming event? I want the BI for the meme, and I also want the Merkava. I think would probably be the same for you too.
I want the Merkava. Realistically, I'm going to start by selling everything. And then at the end, if I can buy it all back and build myself a Merkava, cool. If not, oh well. Maybe I'll buy a Magog.
C'est la vie!
C'est la vie in statistics.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I'm not grinding for the BI. That thing is just stupid.
Yeah, fuck that. I don't have time for that.
Yeah, I don't have time for that. No, who the hell has time for that?
I feel like it's going to be dirt cheap. It's going to be dirt cheap. We get coupons for build-a-thon vehicles?
Yes.
Yeah,
unless of course this is the different I-180S version of the event, where instead of you rebuilding the I-180S, you rebuild the BI several times before you can get a Merkava.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it. They haven't even said the actual event, so our opinions on the events
that's going to be my prediction. It's going to be like the I-180S event, where you have to rebuild it several times.
Who knows? Before this video even goes on YouTube, they could release it, and all this opinion is fucking out the window.
Yeah. I have several methods of extracting a very large number of crates from this game very quickly, and I'm just going to be selling them as fast as I can before the price drops.
Oh my god. Alright, let's see. Can I answer that? Nicktoon1219, another Discord user, asks, what's your most favorite plane and tank in the game? My favorite plane in the game, I would honestly probably have to say, is... You guys are going to hate me. The Draken.
You're gross.
I wanted to say the Starfighter because Italy and kind of the Phantom, but when it comes to props, my favorite plane is the F7F Tiger Cat. That's my favorite prop.
If I said anything other than the F104S, it would clearly be a lie. Because I played like twice as many battles in that as any other aircraft.
My favorite aircraft, I would
MiG-21.
This is a bit of a tough question because I do really like all the aircraft in the game, but if I'm gonna have to go with an aircraft that I want to do everything in, it definitely has to be like an F4 Phantom or the A4.
In terms of like utility, oh yeah, probably would be something like that. But in terms of like my personal favorite that I just enjoy using, it's definitely the F104.
I love the F7F because it's a race plane and it's a fucking tank. That's my favorite prop.
My favorite definitely then would have to be, my personal favorite is definitely the MiG-21 SMT.
It's gonna be the MiG-23 when they.
You can fuck off. I am never. Mark my words. I am never touching that piece of shit ever again.
But what if you gotta get to your MiG-31 through it?
They can fuck off. I'm G'ing through that entire aircraft alone.
Oh my god. Gobnick's gonna sell all his shekels. He's gonna sell all his shekel stock in GTA.
I will sell my kidney. Okay, I will sell my kidney. There is no. You cannot make me fly that thing.
23.
Some poor bastard in America is gonna be like, "Oh, I'm so glad I got this kidney," and Gobnick's like, "Must get MiG-31." Oh man. And also favorite tanking game, Ariete.
Oh,
Centauro.
Merkava.
Oh, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. I like the Merkava. I like the look of the Merkava Mark IV actually. I like the turret on that the best.
It's a pancake.
Yeah, I know. I kind of go back and forth on the tanks, but
Oh
something
man.
that I always enjoy is that 8.0 thermal two-plane stabilizer.
You are a fucking
unparalleled
demon.
mobility.
You are a
Oh my
demon.
God.
I love the first Centauro, but dude, even at 8.0, I'm like, I used to take that thing up against 10.3 and kill T80Us in the
Oh, yeah.
side to grind the Arietis. That thing is a fucking dirty tank at 8.0. I hate it. Oh my God.
The auto blend of 74 HVG.
That thing is pretty fun. Italy
yeah,
is
that
Italy.
matters.
Look, Italy is a fun nation, but it is a really hard nation to learn. You really have to understand maps, positioning, sound whoring, corner peeking, everything. Like you have to know this game to play
And
the
hope
Italians,
to
because the
Mussolini
second you
himself.
get shot, you're dead. Italy has the worst problem with hull break out of any nation in the game. The second you're exposed, you're dead.
And
So
hope to Mussolini himself that you could erode.
he's gonna be out.
Jesus.
He's gonna be flicking his hands around in hell with your repairs. He's like, hey, Marcello, what's wrong with you? Why did you fucking drive out? You got the bullet wheel hull break. Oh, dude, oh my God, it's a good tech tree, but goddamn, is it hard. Next question is by another recent Discord user that joined. State but small said, should War Thunder be deleted as a whole? To be
As a
honest,
meme answer, yes. Fuck War Thunder. But as a legitimate answer, no. I think there's
no,
a lot
only the
that-
German tech tree should be deleted. Fuck wearables.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Please don't
Fuck
kill me.
Germany.
Please don't kill me, please.
You can come to my house and kill me. I don't give a fuck.
And
Fuck
I want to
Germany.
get to this. I want to get to this topic next. Where was that question? Did I not? I didn't type that question down. Oh no, I did. By another Discord user, Just Carlos. He said, if you could delete a vehicle from the game, which one would that be? We're excluding helicopters because we all know he was a K-50, K-52. Vehicle, I would delete G91R3, hands down. The Italian tech tree has a worse G91. That's $50. And while the Germans do have the R4 as well as a premium, they have an entry 99,000 RP that never got up tiered and up RP requirement, G91R3 with 4 Nords. Guess what? They're all the same plane. They all carry the same amount of Nords. They all have the same hard points. The fact that the Germans get an entry virtually free G91 that's better than the country that made the fucking plane is ridiculous. I would delete the G91 R3 in a heartbeat.
I think the point could be made that the event FJ is a little bit more cancer because it carries 5 bullpups, but
I mean, but they're not as
that's an
common.
event though. You
That's
can't
an
get
event.
that again
That's
unless
an-
you
that's
buy
an
it through the
event,
market.
yeah.
The G91 you could get it whenever you want to.
It's
'cause in
also
the tree.
I did the math. I did the math, by the way. I'm gonna do it again. I own the Horton already, and I did the math. It's 99,000. If you do 99,000 divided by 45, which is 45 RP per GE, that comes up to 2,200 GE, which is $16. If you grind the German tree legitimately, for $16, you can get a better G91 than the $50 one in the Italian tree.
It's fucked up.
With a little bit
$16, you could
more
ruin everyone
GEing the
else's
Nords,
experience
obviously.
at Green ground battles.
With a
Think
little bit
about
more
that
if
for
you
just a
GE
minute.
the Nords, but I
Also,
digress.
which brings
Yeah.
the other reason that the FJ4B isn't so bad is that at least the FJ4B is in the American tech tree.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
normal
that's
one too.
Germans are running around with
Yeah.
5 American bullpups.
Yeah, if you want missiles, you have to buy the event one. If you just want normal, you just grind the
Yeah.
normal one.
I
Let's
don't
see.
know what I would remove, honestly. Probably some stupid. Oh, I know. The goddamn Hellcat in the Italian tree. That's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, dude, I can't imagine. I can't imagine
Americans in here,
Sim.
too.
I can't imagine Sim in an M18 right now.
Oh, that's literal hell.
It's so fucking
You
whack.
just kill everything.
Because you can put Italian identifying markings on an American tank. They haven't turned that off because
they turned off, like, what was it, Polish markings for like Russian tanks or something dumb. They turned off something that made sense, and then they just leave Italian markings for the Americans. Wow.
and you can, if you know what you're doing, you can also put German markings on American tanks with the victory marks.
You can shut
And you
up
can-
right now and not tell anybody.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
We don't need more cancer in
I'm-
Sim. Sim is already a struggle bus. All right. Anyways, final question of the day, because I think we're a little over an hour here, is by Discord user Sup. That's literally the Discord name. Or if you wanna actually no. If you wanna go by the full name, because yes, I am gonna read your name out. It's Pee Pee Poo Poo Man, Sex Man Sup / Pee Pee Poo Poo Man.
Fucking hell.
And Sup asks, Mr. Pee Pee Poo Poo, says, do you think it will be worth it to grind for the Bereznyak-Isayev, the BI, based on the statistics we've been provided? Also, what other hopes do you want to see implemented into the game as of the new event?
Wait, what was
based
that
on
second part? I was laughing too hard at the first part.
also, what other hopes do you want to see implemented into the game as of the new event? I might be misreading that, but I kind of know what they're going for. What other things do you hope to see, or like new vehicles? I don't know.
Vehicles.
But I can answer the first part for the BI. Must statistics is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, that thing is gonna be so bad.
It's just a meme vehicle. I can't wait to
it's a
see
meme.
people use it as like a pod racer and then run out of fuel.
Yeah. Or just use it against helicopters and tank battles.
I'm just thinking.
I actually really want to take it into top tier Russian RV and destroy Apaches with it and piss people off so much.
You know what's going through my head right now? I'm thinking of that scene in Star Wars where the kid goes, this is pod racing, and he's in a copter destroying Apaches.
That's why I wish it was the version with the rockets on the wings, because it looks like a pod racer with the little pod things on the side. I fucking love it. Anyways, the second part, any other things I'd hope to see implemented? The event not have basically Gaijin going, haha, cheat button, and making your grind worse with an RNG table.
I want them to be extremely transparent about what drop rates are, what you are actually going to need, like, so that when you start, you know exactly how much time, or not exactly, but you can estimate accurately how long you need to spend for this event. And then also, I would like there to be a way to bail out halfway through if it's just not happening, and somehow like cash the stuff in for Gaijin coin or whatever. I don't know.
What do you mean,
that's
like
what I would like to see.
like a refund type thing?
Or just, I mean, I guess if you really want to bail halfway, because like a lot of times in the events, I feel like more of the stuff should be tradable, so that you can
Well,
sell
hold
it.
on. They did add you can privately sell stuff to people now, so for the market.
Oh,
Yeah. So.
we could see boosting then, multiple accounts. I'm gonna shut up about that before there's a whole plague of people fucking. Oh boy, that could be a problem.
Oh man.
Watch like the most common piece to get ever is like charged for like $100
Yeah.
on the marketplace for this event.
Dude, people are gonna abuse the marketplace for the meme.
Oh, I'm
it's-
gonna abuse the marketplace to try and make money.
Oh my god. Oh, jeez. All right, that's it. That's all we've got for today, people. I'd say this went pretty well.
Yeah.
Pretty swell podcast. I'm gonna be like Joe Rogan and be like, man, I don't know. A buddy of mine told me to smoke some DMT and get some milk meat. Gaijin's gonna be like, all right, guys, we want you to let you know that we made this event easier. I'm just gonna be like, do you do DMT?
Cap protected.
Do you do DMT? Does Anton smoke his elk meat?
Anytime Gaijin opens their mouth, cap detected on American soil.
Oh man. All right. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to the first episode of the Salty Platoon podcast. This has been Steel Wolf, Arrowbane, and the Gobnik Czar. Again, I really wish we had Wolfram here, but fucking time zones.
gotta sleep.
I'm gonna sleep. Well, I mean, what? We started recording this at like a little after 8 because of dinner and shit. So, I don't know. I'll see what I can do. I'll probably gonna put up some like post commentary type gameplay for the video of like each topic. Gonna leave timestamps in the description for people to jump to parts. Obviously, that's what I'm gonna do. So if you've made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for listening to our rambling.
And if you come back to watch this after the event, let us know if you haven't blown your brains out.
Dude, we're gonna do another one during the event. Fucking bet your ass.
I know.
We're gonna do a midway. Oh my god.
Let me get my SU6 ready right now.
Oh no. Oh my god.
Get my. How many people can I team kill to stop them beating me before I get kicked? Event players to be like.
Oh my god, dude.
No.
I hate build. I've never completed a build-a-thon. I can't do it, man. I don't know.
I did the 279 one and it was just no. I was fried, and I ended up not playing the vehicle after that because it was just.
I played it like one day, and then everyone was just screeching about it so much. I was like, okay, I'm not even. Okay, this wasn't worth it.
Oh, dude, I can't take this. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching the first episode of Salty Platoon Podcast. And always, the Discord will be in the description, the link for that. Link to my War Thunder Live profile. What else? What else did I say?
Yes.
Timestamps. Timestamps will be there, blah, 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 blah. If you want to rewatch this, make sure to like and share the podcast to your friends. I'm going to start brainstorming some videos to overput our commentary. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, thank you, everybody. See you next time.